Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have Nick Viall from the Viall Files defending Brayden and blasting Charity. And I got to tell you, there's a good amount about his defense of Brayden that I completely and irrevocably agree with. And we're going to get into that right now. Do me a favor, follow me on Instagram at DNeals for stand-up show updates. Seattle, August 24th, that show. Tickets are live right down there. Huntington Beach, August 17th. Hey, how about Reality Steve and I do a nice little show in Texas? What do you say, Steve? Let's do it. How would anyone come to that? Maybe some stand-up, maybe a Q&A, maybe, I don't know. Just a thought. And also don't forget, Patreon is live at 10:15 this morning, patreon.com/Dave Neal. And this afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast, we had another internationally sized journal write to us for an interview. I'm going to be discussing that later on the Patreon. It rhymes with Washington Woast. No, I'm kidding. But we hopefully will get an interview with them, and a lot of good things happening on the channel here. Can't wait to share it all with you. All right, so what's his name again? Nick. What's that guy's name? Nick Viall here, who might be on the next season of Special Forces. We're not sure. Has this to say about Brayden. Let's have a listen.
It's all right. It's Bachelor time. It's Bachelorette time. Episode 4. I didn't think they'd make me like Brayden. I don't like Brayden.
I like him too.
Well,
I don't hate him. I got to be honest from the beginning.
Nothing irritates me more watching this show every season, like I said earlier in the episode, than a bunch of fucking...
Okay, so he's going to swear a little bit, so let's pause so we don't ruin the monetization. But yeah, so Brayden is interesting. He's kind of got the Logan Palmer vibe where they tried to make Logan into a villain, and he's like, nope, not on my watch. I'm going to charm my way out of it. And it seems that Brayden might have been doing the same thing.
In mids, a bunch of people who don't have a shot, who have no connection with the lead, whine about the time they're not getting, and then blame people who get time, thinking that it's not Charity making these decisions.
Okay, so Nick says, hey, come on. This is all Charity's doing. She gets to choose who she wants to be with. Don't blame Brayden. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And then he calls these other guys a mid. And look, I don't like using new words. I don't like using new slang because I feel stupid using it. So we have to look up mid. The slang mid is used to describe something or someone as below average or low quality. It can be used as an insult. So he calls the other guys on the group date low quality.
Like a bunch of guys who probably claim to be progressive and like care for Charity. And they're kind of, what are they playing? What's the term? The kind of savior, the guy.
White knight? Like a savior complex?
I don't know if progressive has anything to do with this.
Fucking, I am so fucking sick of Aaron.
Whoa.
Shut the fuck up, Aaron.
I am too.
You're not her fucking savior. You're not her hero. You're not there to protect.
I don't disagree.
To make sure that Charity is
earlier in the season, Aaron claimed that he told Charity, he goes, I have this bird's eye POV to see what's going on. And it's like, that's like a car salesman telling you, hey, don't buy from that other guy, he's bad. And it's like, but you're just trying to sell me your car. Aaron's just trying to sell him to Charity, and in the process, he's doing it by process of elimination. Let me get rid of Brayden. You can't trust, the only person here that you could trust is Jesse Palmer, and maybe that's about it. Everyone else has their own interests.
Okay, it's not your fucking job. She's fine. She's able to take care of herself. Shut the fuck up and let things play out.
Amen.
And I hated that Brayden made so much fucking sense when talking, because nevertheless, he is still most certainly a fuckboy who isn't ready to settle down.
And we could debate the F-boy terminology here, but I don't know. I've always said Brayden probably could settle down for the right person, but if it's not the right person, it seems like he immediately is like, oh boy, this isn't it, But again, that's people can have their F-boy phase. I guess the ladies call it a hoe phase, right? I'm having hot girl summer. We know what that means, Cheryl. We know what that means, and you do it, Cheryl. You enjoy the hell out of yourself, respectfully.
Who wouldn't give Charity straight answers and should have gone home.
He seems pretty self-aware though. He's kind of just when he's describing himself, he's like, yeah, I think I opened my mouth too much and I need to just be quiet. And then it cuts to next week. They all have the same exact concerns that Brayden has. They're like, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I don't know Mandan Matthews, the guest here, but she's great.
Just says what he thinks he's out loud because he's 24.
Great voice.
To me, he's harmless. And I actually really liked him when he first got on the show. He didn't need the earrings and the scarf, but I liked he seemed like he was genuinely joyful in the world, and that bothered the people that weren't.
And people got upset when I said this when I met him. I mean, him and his father would have talked to me for another 2 hours after the show. We've talked. I mean, I've had this throat issue. We talked until we ran out of things to talk about. He's a jovial guy. He's a good guy. He seems like a good guy. He just wasn't that into Charity, and he wasn't that into the drama that kind of existed around him being on the show.
Yes.
Totally.
He didn't take himself that seriously. And like the show, like that's what I find always annoying about the show. They like to punish people who kind of like what we talked about earlier. It's just like, how dare you question this? And how dare you question
a process that statistically doesn't work. Chad Johnson did it with JoJo Fletcher, where he was like, I'm not going to pretend to like her. It's only a second date. I don't even know if I know her yet.
The sincerity of The Bachelor. And because you even question the possibility that we're going to crucify you. We're going to label you something that you're not. And we're going to mob mentality.
Because you're at the top.
And we're going to bring you down with these kind of loose accusations and make it more meaningful and sound more evil than it actually is. And at the end of the day, you just like aren't buying into the collective, you know, what we all agreed that we're going to say, which is, oh God, I'm already falling in love. And like this process is working for me.
And as I said, I'm not here calling these guys mid. Chances are these guys could find any success. And maybe if you looked at one of the spoilers that we made in the last video, one of these guys from the group date might have found success on a future season. I'm just saying, you can go check out that spoiler. I'm not saying who. But my point is, I don't think they're mid. I don't think they're below average in any way. I just don't think they are Charity's top contenders. They're on a group date. If you haven't gone a one-on-one by now, you're just biding your time.
And like, oh my God, my connection with Charity is like stronger than I can imagine. Meanwhile, you've spent 6 fucking minutes with her. She clearly doesn't like you. If she wanted to spend more time with you, she would.
It's kind of like that whole idea. If he wanted to text you back, he would. People will show you how they actually feel. If so-and-so wanted to be into you, they would. And if Brayden wanted to stay there for Charity, he would have. But he didn't. It didn't work out. And they should be happy that he's gone.
The reason you're not getting time is not because of Brayden. It's because Charity doesn't know your name.
Well, it's also because Aaron keeps talking about it, and it's like he's bringing it to the surface. And I agree with Brayden where he's like, you got.
When I agree with somebody, their point of view, I just play the national anthem. Like I'm assuming if somebody agrees with me, it must be God bless the USA. We agree together. Go USA.
Insecure, and you're like trying to put me there when I don't belong here. Like, just stay in your lane, dude. Everyone needs to just stay in their lane. And it is easy to be like, how dare you, like, yeah, what you said, how dare.
And of course the producers are like, no, don't stay in your own lane, crisscross lanes, get in each other's lanes, you know. That's what
you question this process. Yeah, easy for you to commit when you're not even involved yet. Like Brayden, now that he actually had a connection, he's like, oh no, I don't want to actually hurt this person. So he's just thinking about it a lot more than the other people are.
You know, I haven't thought of this point, but she's absolutely correct. It's easy for these other guys to be like, we're here for the right reasons, but they're not getting as serious as Brayden is, where he's going, oh my gosh, first impression rose. Oh my gosh, one-on-one date. Could I get down and do the thing, you know?
100%. As someone who's been in that world, like getting any amount of actual real time it is magnified. It does feel like so much more. So it makes sense why Brayden feels like his connection with Charity actually has some substance. And while he's comparing it to the Seans of the world, where it's like, you haven't even talked to her. You don't know anything about her. And you're talking to her like you're in a 10-year, you're talking about her as if
like she's the mother of your children and you need to defend
relationship.
her.
Yeah. And it's just like, you guys are insane. You all sound fucking brainwashed and fucking.
Yeah. He's like, you guys all drank the Kool-Aid. I'm just drinking a pint of beer constantly.
When Brayden said that Sean looked like Prince Charming from Shrek, I was like,
my God.
that's the most accurate.
And the thing that's ever been said.
And that's the photo right there.
It was one of those things where I was like, is this the most mature way of engaging with the world? No. Is seeing you do a fake butt chin talking shit about him like better than like you being like, yeah, I am a morally
flawed person? But they're talking shit about Brayden too. Even on the Girl Scout date when they're like, who's the most intelligent? Not Brayden.
They said they'd eat him. It's all okay because they all say it. Yeah. And I'm like, you're bullying him. You're not any better. Like that.
And I don't think Brayden cares to play the victim here. I think he's not saying, oh, you guys are all attacking me. He's mainly calling out Aaron. The other guys feel like Brayden's kind of like the weakness is showing, so they jump in on that, and they think that collectively, like we had in the last season with Aaron on Katie Thurston's season. Was it Katie Thurston? I don't even remember anymore. But the point is that they think collectively they're greater than him, and they can kind of team up on him. Yeah, it's kind of like bullying.
To me, as a person, that would feel really hard to have every guy just like come down on you.
Yeah. I'd be like, I would eat you. It's really, when you think about it.
He took it in stride.
I mean, he's pretty endearing, honestly. Like, he's pretty authentically him, and I do appreciate that about him. He's not trying to like be liked or like be like in the group. He's just like doing his thing, and I don't want anyone to taint him. I don't want anyone to try to rob his joy.
The only thing he has going against him is that he is too young for this process.
Yes.
He's in no position. I mean, we don't know him, but from what we're seeing,
most of the people on the show are too young
to settle down anytime soon. He's a fun-loving, good-looking fuckboy who is just gonna have some fun probably for the next 4 years dating, and hopefully he is compassionate with the feelings of the people he dates. But nevertheless, he's probably not ready to get engaged in 8 or 9 weeks. And credit to him to have that self-awareness. Yes, you can criticize him for like, why'd you show up? I mean, he was given a fucking opportunity. But yes, he's willing to be more honest than all these other guys. He at least has the guts to say, I don't know. I mean, technically, all these other fucking guys are just love bombing motherfuckers.
You don't even know her yet.
You don't even know her, who are willing to say whatever they think Charity wants to say to get him to leave. And Brayden left on his own. He was like, you know what? I don't think this process is for me. He didn't wait for Charity to send him home. And I love how Charity pretended to the guys as if it was her decision. Yeah. All while being so completely rattled. It's like, I'm just so confident about this decision. I'm like, you are.
No, you're not confident.
You are just spiraling, Charity.
I'm not going to. So this is where it gets a little harsh on Charity. I think she did her best. I mean, no one ever wants to be rejected, especially like on TV. And knowing that you were kind of committing to a guy and really liking Brayden, and then he couldn't hang, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes or what's happening, how much of these other guys have validity in the statements they're saying about him. So she's questioning herself. I don't blame her at all for that.
Charity loves a fuckboy.
She was still upset. You could tell that she had that little fire in her where she's like, okay, yeah, no, I know I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, no,
he's like, no, it wasn't you. I just wanted you to know.
But she was defensive there. He was like, yeah, I'm sorry. And she's like, she's like, I didn't do anything wrong. This is you. Like, she was defensive there.
Wasn't you. She's like, I know it wasn't.
Bingo.
She's a fuckboy magnet.
I mean, she seems aware of it too. She's like, this is an old pattern.
Yeah.
But
Nick calls her an F-boy magnet.
hard the body just remembers, right? The body's like, no, this is familiar, so I want to go to it. And this is, to me, like, this is love, because this is what I know love to be, but I know her soul wants to go this way and try to get a new experience. She's probably still thinking about Brayden.
I think her date with Xavier, which, by the way, apologize, Xavier, I've been pronouncing it Xavier. I think her date with Xavier kind of highlighted that, right? Because I loved that voiceover that we, kind of.
Okay, so the Nick seems to think that she and Xavier are the real deal, and Dotun, I think he called him Doten. It's Dotun, I believe, doesn't stand a chance, but Dotun's doing a good job. But again, there's no spoilers. These are his opinions. Let's finish this off.
Incredible dresser. That sweater, French kiss. I want to go shopping with Xavier. Like,
did you say French kiss?
Chef's kiss. I don't know.
Sorry, I just processed that.
I want to French kiss Xavier.
I mean, kind of. Yeah.
Level up. French chef's kiss.
I feel like she has a lot of chemistry with Joey.
Joey's just there to be the next Bachelor.
Interesting.
And they're doing a good job.
And they're doing a good job.
Could be,
yeah. It's so obvious who our top three are. I don't know. I was wrong about Joey Harrington, whatever his fucking name was. John. I got over John after he just absolutely blamed Brayden for his lack of chemistry with Charity. He's like, how could you do that to another man? It's like, what the fuck? Again,
I don't disagree. I would probably phrase it differently. That John, it looked like John actually was going to have a productive conversation with Brayden. John went up to Brayden and they were talking. So they must have a friendship there that obviously Brayden doesn't have with Aaron, because then Aaron comes in and they're fighting, and they're lit up on the bus. Which, by the way, kudos to The Bachelor to be able to capture all of this. They had the lighting already. You could tell they're ready to turn the cameras on. They're They're really good with confrontation because the Bachelor producers are in the back going, moment. We have a moment, and that means all hands on deck. Get it. Get the cameras. Let's go. We need to grab this. We can't replicate this. But they were prepared for that. They knew there would be an issue bringing Brayden back. But either way, John going, you shouldn't treat another man like that. I think Brayden came in to do his business with Charity, wasn't thinking about the other guys. I think that's okay.
And the audience every season. So the scene of which you had, what's his name?
John,
sure.
He's like sure. Joey Harrington.
Whatever. He's making out with Charity, right? And then you see fucking Brayden just standing there. So just a little behind the scenes for you all. This is what I'm 99.99999% sure what happened. Brayden goes home in the limo. And then you saw in his exit, he's like, I just felt like, just like something left unsaid. He goes back to his hotel room. They're sitting in this compound, right? No one leaves the next fucking, immediately. They might leave the next day or the next 2 days. They have to book a flight, whatever the fuck. In that time period, a producer went up to him and said, hey, man, I don't know. It just felt like, you had more to say, man. Like, if we got you another time with Charity, would you want to do it? And he's probably like, fuck yeah, man. Like, I don't want to leave on a bad note.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they wait till the group date. Of course. See, Nick understands this. Brayden wasn't like, let me in there. No, of course not. And that's why he rushed past the guys, because he goes, oh, shoot, this is what it is. And he kind of realizes this is what it is.
So I said, sure. And the only window they gave him was, they're like, all right, well, walk in. He had no idea what was going on. He probably had no idea there's a cocktail party going on. They said, walk in, take a right, walk into that room, and go talk to your girl. And he walked into a room.
Sabotage.
Well, she was already talking to John.
Making out with John.
That happens every fucking interaction.
Yeah, it's
This is why I get so annoyed when people that I know have watched this show for a long time, they go, Dave, how could you? Don't you realize it's the same shit every season? It's the producer's the villain here.
Sure, it's like he did not come up with that on his own idea and was like, I'm going to interrupt. But
everyone
they knew that
interrupts.
It would piss everybody off.
Yes, everyone interrupts. Every conversation is interrupted by someone else. They just choose to show certain ones, but every single one is interrupted.
Very nice. Good work there to our fellow comrade, Nick Viall. And if you want to go check that all out, you can go check it out on his channel on YouTube. It's Nick Viall. And also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram for all stand-up show updates, Patreon if you want to donate to the channel. And thank you so much for all the super chats yesterday. We had a $50 super chat. It really helps during the off-season to get some of that. And Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast, coming to you this afternoon. We'll have a bunch of unique content for you. This afternoon, go search Bachelor Rush Hour wherever you listen, and we'll be back with more right after this.